So Anthony Bourdain killing himself.
Yeah.
So there's a guy, authentic.
Let me bring something up. Yeah, go ahead.
Authentic, the truth teller, very good at his job, very honest, very self-aware, all the things that we would like to do on this show.
Yeah.
And then he goes and kills himself, So, and we've seen this now. How many times? Prince, we don't know what kind of drug addiction he had.
Anybody. Heath Ledger.
Kate Spade, also the designer, also killed herself. And I'm trying to wrap my head around that. I'm trying to explain.
It's very basic.
It's a scary road where I will take you right now. But I feel like, I'm just guessing why people of that stature would kill themselves.
Here.
But I think at some point they go, in their darkest moments, they go, I've done the best work that I possibly could do.
It's not that.
I'm running out of energy. I'm just guessing from my own. I'm running out of creative energy. I'm becoming a different person as I age. My body's starting to hurt me. Everything's starting to go a little bit downhill. And then they say, here's an exit out. And their darkest moments, they say, here's a way to go out.
Do non-celebrities kill themselves?
Yes.
That's the answer right there.
Right, but still, people would say, "Why? How? They have everything."
That's also the answer. That is the answer. It begs the question, but that's also the answer. Once you realize that vast majority of non-celebrities kill themselves, far more than celebrities, because there are far fewer celebrities than there are humans. Than there are regular non-celebrities. Then you realize it's a human condition. The reason it's so shocking is because, first of all, they're gods, and so they become mouthpieces where they shouldn't be. But, they're entitled to their opinion. But once you realize that the gods are killing themselves, then you realize, it's celebrity and wealth, and none of this has nothing to do with anything except perhaps being an accelerant. That's it. Because what do all non-celebrities do? I want to be a celebrity. I want to be this. I want to be that. If only I were a celebrity, I would be happy. So what is the worst thing you could wish upon somebody? Is to become a celebrity. And then you realize, fuck, I'm a celebrity now. I'm still taking out the fucking trash. My wife's a fucking hag. And I'm miserable. I'm not happy. I'm stressed out. I'm Johnny Depp. I'm drinking. I'm beating my wife. I'm Robin Williams, well, that's a different thing. And all these human issues that everybody experiences, and I thought celebrity would resolve them. And then Heath Ledger has an overdose and kills himself.
You don't have to check yourself on Robin Williams because his half brother admitted that depression was a problem in the family.
Absolutely.
For all of them. So, you don't have to check. He did have Louis dementia, I think it was, Robin Williams. But yeah, it's hard to wrap your head around, though. A guy like, as authentic, as Bourdain was, I could care less about food.
Right.
It was more, the guy was so self-aware and so authentic. He was, and it's what we will talk about. And we will talk about every show, is he had to control his mouth because he was going to say everything that was floating around in his head. They have clips on YouTube where he's on cooking shows and he starts to just go so dark, and the guy's like, "Well, let's get back to the cooking," Yeah. So he
authentic.
Really had a way with words and really had a way with putting you somewhere. He had the ability to put you into a space that you might not have ever been.
Let me see if I can find this thing. But yeah, you're right. Where,
and again, a guy like him, authentic, self-aware, kills himself. I feel like we just don't have a lot, and it's very difficult to be authentic and self-aware and put yourself out there in this world because, like you said, it is about greed and money, and it is about keeping your family, and it is about keeping your job. So I get it. I get all those things. But you think, again, in this whole world, in this massive globe, you think we'd have, I don't know, maybe I'm just too, maybe there is too much romance inside. I'm looking for that guy who's going to be that hero, who's like in the movies. Like, we have no heroes. We have absolutely no heroes that just stand up, and the guys who have the power to and I hate to bring back, but I'm just using him as
wait, hold on. Can you hear this? I don't know.
Oh.
Can you hear this? I don't know. Okay, no. I'm gonna stop it. I'm gonna stop it because I think it's showing the video, but it's not playing the audio of the video. And I think that's largely just me not knowing how to.
Hold on. Don't give up one. What did I do? Hold on. I want to see if it was playing.
It's showing the video, but it's not.
Try one more time.
No. It's not. I think that's largely just me not knowing how to.
You gotta be able to do this. It's so important for the ability to do this, though. It's so important.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is, I was playing the video, but it wasn't playing the audio from the video. So that means I need to switch the audio, and so I think I know how to do that, but I haven't set it up. Oh, I can see. I can switch the audio input, but I haven't set that up yet. So I can do it, but I don't think it's set up yet. You know what I'm saying?
You don't want to try one more time?
Well, because I don't know which audio input would be the browser. You know what I mean?
No, I have no idea.
Okay.
Damn you.
Yeah, but I'll figure it out. But
there's no way to play the audio just on your side loud enough so I can hear it through my headphones.
I could do that by just playing it out, but that's not the ideal way. The ideal way is that my audio shuts off completely and it just starts playing. It's easy to set up, but I would have to sit there for like 5 minutes and go and set it up. Not a big deal. We'll do that another time. It can be done. It's easy to do, but I don't want to figure it out right now. What I want to talk about is Anthony, why this is important. It is so terrifying to people to imagine this, because people are like, I want to win the lottery. I want to, all these things, and you hear all these horrible stories of people who won the lottery, right? And they're murdered. They end up killing themselves. They lose all their money, whatever. You hear all these stories about once they get the money, they realize it doesn't change that they're happy. And there's been many scientific studies on this as well. If you're happy before, the money maintains your happiness. If you're sad or depressed before, the money enhances that depression, because no matter what you do, you still realize you're just sad and you're depressed. So it's a cultural phenomenon. It's a cultural phenomenon. Perhaps not just parallel to the biological and chemical, triggers for depression. The societal triggers and the cultural triggers of depression are very scientifically documented and real. Our society is making people depressed. Okay? And this is where I would love to be able to show web pages and scientific study. Not BuzzFeed shit, but where people are trying to understand the root causes of depression and everything else, to show you the psychological, societal triggers that is causing people to be depressed, how Facebook and social media is making people depressed and furthering that depression. Something that's supposed to bring people together, but it's making people insane because they're watching Kim Kardashian show a video of her baby, right? And they're going, my life is not like this. So these are universal things. So people who acquire ridiculous amounts of wealth and can buy whatever they want and do all these things, and it doesn't make them happy, it is like a gift from the devil, right? It's one of those double-edged swords. There you go. I'll make you famous. You got everything you want, and then you're like, this was the worst thing ever, right? So you start taking drugs and you have an overdose. I'm so upset with Heath Ledger, right? Because what he did in Batman was just brilliant. And yet that didn't fuel... I mean, people will say, oh, it was just an overdose. But he's taking drugs to escape, right? He's taking drugs to escape. It's not just a pleasure thing. It's an escape. You talk about Anthony and his depression. No matter how wealthy he was or whatever, he started depressed. He became more depressed. He had a wonderful girlfriend. He became depressed. He stayed depressed. What we have to start to do is first acknowledge that depression is sort of a natural human construct that's supported and furthered by the societal construct. It's created by the societal construct. The 24-hour news cycle, social media, all these things of Kardashians and what's real and what's not real makes people depressed. And no amount of money will change that because you're still living in this society. You have to go onto an island or somewhere, Iceland or whatever, isolate yourself and not be bombarded with these supportive, depressive environments. And then take the stigma of depression. I don't know anyone who's not depressed or suffers from PTSD and dealing with eating disorders and post-relationship problems and monetary problems and questions about their sexuality and questions about their jobs. I mean, it's just these are normal human constructs, societal constructs. And yet it's such a weird thing that we go, well, this person was depressed because they shot up a school.
But I think it's more than a stigma, though, because I think what people have to realize that don't have depression, like people who don't have depression totally don't get it, right? It's so foreign to them. But when you have depression, if you state you want to harm yourself, you want to kill yourself, what happens?
Yeah, or you want to cut yourself. Well, that's the problem.
What happens? If you said,
yeah, you're
what
locked
happens?
up. Oh, what if you say you're attracted to children? What's going to happen? You're going to be locked up and banished from society.
I don't think a lot of people realize that. So if I said someone, you know, I'm not feeling good, I think I want to hang myself, I want to kill myself, they would take you immediately.
Everybody realizes that. That's the problem.
Well, I don't think young people realize that. I think young people would be surprised if they told a therapist or somebody at school, then they tell their family, and boom, they're in a weird, listen to me, they're in a weird lockup with other really effed up people. It. And that you can't get out. You're locked in.
Yeah.
It's 24/7. The door is locked.
They may not know the details of that experience,
but I'm saying it goes beyond
they know
stigma.
that by telling it, bad shit's going to happen. No one thinks revealing good shit.
But it goes beyond stigma.
That's the problem. Well, that is part of the stigma. It's like, if I say this, bad shit's going to happen. Right?
Real bad shit's going to happen.
They don't know the level.
So I might as well just kill myself.
No, because of the stigma, they don't know how bad the stigma is, right? Because they don't go down there. So the beauty of an Anthony is that he talks about it. He's like, I don't give a fuck. But that doesn't erase his depression, and it doesn't erase the society he lives in, which furthers his depression and supports his depression, just like men are supported in the patriarchal system. So the problem is, it's a normal human construct to be in this. It's a sign of sociopathy or psychopathy to not react to this environment with some sort of filter or protection or depression. Because this is all batshit crazy. Okay? The wealth inequality and racism and all these things. The only way people will not be depressed if you saw a human being and you were like, what the fuck is this? You see this? Look at these fucking, look, I got 10 of these fucking fingers. I'm talking to you. I'm breathing, if you're just in a constant state of like, what the fuck? Can I hug you? I gotta fucking hug you, But we're trained, we're filtered. In fact, even our brains are filtered. When you talk about what they used to call idiot savants, Rain Men, the savant syndrome, is these people, they lose something in their brain. It stops functioning. It's basically a filter of reality. And so you start asking them questions, and they're like, what's 3? Well, I live in zip code 84653. They're like, oh, you're in the Lower East Side of Essex, right? When you look at their brains, the filter is turned off. The filter is fucked up. And so they're able to see like 80% or use like 90% of their brain. Our brains are designed to filter reality because we cannot fucking handle it. All right? The way we see things and process things. And it's a physical damage that forces us to not see fullness. And people take like magical mushrooms and stuff, and they have these outlandish experiences. It also affects that part of the brain, that filter. It turns it off, and they start seeing otherworldly things and have these weird, these huge experiences. And they say they're just tripping, but they say, I'm not just tripping. I feel like I'm seeing something that I couldn't see before, right? And this is science. I'm not talking about nonsense. And so, and people they get into car accidents, they damage that part of the brain. Again, this is all science. And they will look at the New York skyline. 5 seconds. All right? This is all, you could Google all this. This is not science. This is not bullshit. And then they would immediately draw that skyline. Every little detail. As if they were sitting there for 5 years. Okay? And the only thing that's different is that filter in your brain got fucked up. All right? So we have a filter that filters everything, colors and everything else, that forces us to only use a part of our brain, a minimal part, because we can't handle the truth. We can't handle the truth. And so depression is almost seeing more than a lot of people see. It's almost like a negative superpower. If you saw Man of Steel and Clark Kent in the beginning of the movie, he's a kid, and he's seeing people's bones. And if you saw Man of Steel, and he's like freaking out, and he can see and hear everything's loud. And so his mother comes by at the school. He's hiding in the closet, and she talks him down and says, just focus on one thing, right? Because he could see so much, and it's just hurting his brain. He can't handle it. So he has to filter it. And our brain is physically filtering shit. And depression is almost a superhero power, like Clark Kent. He's so powerful that you see things as they are. You feel things as they are. You take it all in. PTSD and trauma, and you feel it so much. You feel it so closely. And it's overpowering. All right? And our brain is designed to filter that out. Depression is almost seen too much. We label it as a negative, as a human societal construct. But it's really just someone feeling and seeing shit as they are. I can't take it. People are murdering each other and fucking there's jobs and all this fake stuff that we create. Jobs and all these horrible, ridiculous structures we create, and people react to that. They're not insane. They're not going, gosh, these aliens are coming. Oh, you're depressed. You keep seeing fucking aliens. No, I'm like feeling everything. Well, okay. You're you're super normal. You're filtering less shit out than we do. Right? We've only made it negative. Anthony Bourdain gets on there, a brilliant man. Obviously, he's in tune to flavors and tastes and cultures and people. And one of the downsides of that is he's so in tune to emotions and feeling everything. So much that he's like Clark Kent that he killed himself.
I'm sure drinking didn't help.
It was too much. Yeah. Well, it's like Robin.
You know his motto, right? You know his big have a beer and let somebody else fucking figure it out.
What do you think about like Robin Williams? You think about Robin Williams had this disease. It was almost like a portal for his depression. Heath Ledger had drugs a portal for his depression, right? All these people, a lot of comedians, they always talk about, and it's disputed, but a lot of comedians talk about how so much pain fueled their comedy. You know, so it's like a portal. So these things are like gateways, you know, like suicide and all these things. They're gifts, if you want to call them, and of their depression. It required some sort of external thing to allow them to go forward, right? I mean, I would like to do like IQ tests and EQ tests on people who are depressed, not depressing tests, and see if they're so elevated and it's almost too much, right? To me, they seem to demonstrate a higher sense of feeling, which becomes a problem because they don't know how to turn it off. But what they're feeling, has anyone ever disputed that what they're feeling isn't true? Right? Like, what is fucking PTSD? You experience real fucking things, whether it's war or whatever else. That's a normal fucking reaction to shooting people in the fucking head and seeing their brain fall out. That's not a weird thing. What's weird is going, fuck it, I'm going to shoot 3 more. There's some gooks, right? That's sociopathy and psychopathy, right? That's insane. Being completely sane is going, this is weird. My government sent me over here. I'm shooting people. I'm killing human beings. I'm seeing brains. I'm killing kids. I'm burning villages. The normal reaction is PTSD to sort of protect yourself, or having multiple personalities, or schizophrenia so you escape out of yourself because you can't handle that bullshit, right? So we create these labels, progressives, depression, and these are just normal, ideal human reactions to it. Suicide usually requires something external to say, take that depression and just exit, right? And that's what we need to address. But to sort of label depression as unique or abnormal, not the most common thing that most humans experience to varying level degrees everywhere, that's the problem. Is because people don't want to go online or offline or talk to someone and say, hey, by the way, I'm experiencing something that everybody experiences, so let's have a 9 o'clock. No, it's got to be this secret fucking thing. If everybody realized everybody got depressed, everybody was sad, everybody was like, what the fuck is this? Everybody hates death. Everybody experiences pain and trauma from their family members and their friends dying and war, all these things, and wealth inequality. Then that stigma would go away, but it's still like, not me. And so the greatest gift that anybody can do is what Anthony did. The greatest gift Anthony gave was not his food and his culture and everything else, was saying, I'm depressed. I'm like you. And trying to take it beyond, I'm like a lot of other depressed people, and saying, I'm like every fucking body. All right. We need to get to that point. I'm convinced everybody is depressed, unless they have some sort of filter or damaged construct where they don't see reality.
But I still think the problem is if you say you're depressed and you want to hurt yourself, they'll lock you up.
Of course.
And that's got to change.
Of course.
I mean, so people are not going to say that I feel that way. When I'm stupid, I'm not stupid. I'm not going to say, I'm going to say, no, I am a little sad. I'm not feeling that good, but I'm not going to.
Take the extreme. And I used it earlier. Sorry, I'm sick. Take pedophilia, all right? This is not something someone wakes up and says, hey, I'm going to be... That's an issue. That's, I don't know, chemical, physiological, whatever. The people who go to get help, they get locked up or thrown in jail. That's the extreme of what you're talking about. These are the good ones saying, there's something wrong with me. The shrink sees them and says, fuck it, okay, So you got so many there's like an underground of shrinks. I know a lot of shrinks. They're trying to get these people help. But they're like, if I report this, which I'm legally required to do, they will put them in jail. And so you see all these sort of energies that try to get people into therapy. But society hates these people. These people are going, I can't control this. I have this weird attraction. So what does 90% people do? 80%? 99%? They will never say. So it's the same sort of, that's the extreme. It's the same thing with any sort of people, what people consider as an anomaly of people saying, I feel this way, I want to get help. So they don't get the help, they get worse. They don't get the help that is needed, they get worse. And they only talk about people who will go shoot up schools. They don't talk about every single person you know. The weird guy at the party. The person who tells a story for 8 hours at the party and they get angry if you interrupt them. Everybody exhibits things and we just go, that person's a little funky. That person's a little eccentric. She's rich and crazy. She's a little cuckoo. She's off, but she's cool. Because unless you're like 99% cuckoo, or shoot up school, people care. But what if you're just on the normal range of this, that, or other thing? That person's fine. That person's a little weird. That person's a little crazy. It's a range, just like every other human interaction or human emotion. It's a range that people exhibit. And we ignore that and just go, it's so extreme, this person's crazy. Rather than going these levels of this, why is this person feeling this way? What is it? What about their job? What about their career? What about their relationship? Did someone die in a relationship? We tell people, it's been 3 years, get over it. Your mother died, get over it. Time's up. Well, have we scientifically measured when grief has expired? It's a range. Some people are going to get over it in 3 months. Some other people are going to get over it in 30 years. So we create these ridiculous constructs and people just try to grin and bear it. What happens if someone's grieving and they're trying to just hold it because it's been 3 months? You're suppressing like an ulcer, PTSD and all these things, and it just gets worse. And it exhibits itself in other ways. These people who have shot up schools, 99% of the problem is us.
I'd like to know how these suicide hotlines work. I know people have worked at them. I don't know, if you call in what they do exactly. I'd like to know what the protocol is, whether it's anonymous and whether you can just chat or whatever. But obviously, like I said, there's got to be some more anonymous supportive outreach because again, the way the system is set up right now, you say you want to kill yourself, you say you want to hurt yourself, you're going to get locked up with really fried and depressive and really sick and really out of their heads people, and you're going to be like, whoa, now I'm trapped, now I'm really scared, now they might start pumping you with a drug that really sends you off, and next thing you know, you're in that facility and you kill yourself in that facility. So I don't know. I mean,
I can't tell you how many people have called me who were suicidal and ready to kill themselves, and that's the takeaway from that is really not any of that. The takeaway is they felt more comfortable calling me, not because I'm anything or Brent, whatever. But they felt more comfortable calling me than professionals. That speaks volumes to me.
And I also think I would tell you is, I'm sure if you have something like this and you do have an incident and then you go and you have an experience and it's a bad experience, well, then again, you're taught, I'm never doing that again. I'll handle it on my own. I'm not going to, and look, Bruce Springsteen had massive mental problems and a drinking problem. I mean, super talented guy. I don't know if he ever wanted to kill himself, but he had a doctor on call at some point of his career. So, I mean, mental illness, or whether we want to call it mental illness, is maybe something they can eventually, take a test, see what the chemicals are. Maybe there can be a quicker adjustment. I don't know what the solution is because I don't know, but I do know that the system needs an overhaul, especially for younger people. I think that, if you throw a younger person into that, I can't imagine somebody going into a place like that, locked up, I can't believe that's the answer to that problem.
Yeah, I know people, who've been through these programs, and I don't know, man. I don't know if it's helped them or made it worse, right? So, because they put them in an environment with other people who they fucked up. The program has fucked up, and then they become fucked up too. So, I know people who cut themselves, right? I mean, who does that, right? I mean, that's obviously something that there's something wrong in society where you're like, I need to cut myself, and to call that mental illness is not really, it doesn't capture it, right? It's like, I want to cut myself so I can feel and yada 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 yada. Oh, really? So suddenly, millions of people who cut themselves have the same sort of mental illness. No, it seems to be more of a response to take a universal feeling and then try to exhibit that in a way that other people have. You're trying to make sense of these feelings and doing something that has been demonstrated by others. It doesn't seem like everybody just universally was like, I'm mentally ill, I'm going to cut myself. That's not, no. Do you see what I'm saying? There's a logical sort of searching for, how do I deal with this as an intelligent, reasonable person? I know people cut themselves, so let me try that. Because I'm feeling this and no one's fucking helping me, right? Because I know these people and they're brilliant and they're empathetic and everything else. They're not insane, right? They're not insane. So this is something that they're trying to do because they know others have done it. It's not, oh, you cut yourself, you're nuts. No. Why are you cutting yourself? Because other people... mental illness, to me, it really is starting to exhibit itself more as a societal illness. Society is creating this, and we need to cure society rather than individual people one-on-one. Because the idea of even killing somebody is so ridiculous. The desire to kill someone is so ridiculous. So what makes that, right? Society. Someone's societal pressure has sort of caused that deviant sort of desire, and that recklessness, and that lack of respect for human life, and so on and so forth. But you talk about professionalism. There's an organization, for lack of a better word, where they go out and they just call them listening. Someone just sits down in a public space, and they just listen. They don't form any judgments or anything, and they just listen to people. See, this is where I should be showing the video and everything else.
My computer's dead. I'd have to go find my power cord.
Yeah, I have to figure out how to do that. But it's beautiful. That's how you do it, to just be able, and in a and there's cuddlers too. There's people who just cuddle in a more intimate setting. I shouldn't say intimate, but private. And people come and they're in a bed, and you cuddle. You it's not sexual at all. It's not physical. Well, it's physical, but I mean, you might cuddle, you might hold, but just the environment. You're in a safe place, and you just talk. You just share. And that sounds a little strange, but that's 80% of prostitution. Okay, scientists know that. Prostitutes know that. Everything else. Half the time they're just talking. There might be some physical activity. A lot of times it's just
some wrestling, some judo.
Some judo.